What's happening, YouTube? It's your boy AJ coming back at y'all with another One Piece chapter review. Alright. So as y'all can see, my background's a little different, and I'm a day late. Chapter came out yesterday, but I went home for Thanksgiving. Gotta spend a little time with the family. Y'all know how it is. Thanksgiving, holidays coming up. I'm gonna be here for a week, so my next reaction or review might be like this too. Probably not, but you never know. We'll see. We'll see how things go. As y'all can see right now, there's no live reaction this week. I read the chapter already. I read it yesterday. I was at the airport all yesterday. That's the real reason why I didn't even never do a reaction. Chapter 996 starts off pretty much exactly where chapter 995 left off, where in which Otama comes in and saves Nami and Usopp from page 1 and Uchi. Mixed feelings about the scene. It's not the fact that they got away or anything. It's just more so that Otama's there and she did it. This is a character, I'm gonna be real with you, kind of forgot about. I think in my last live reaction, I kind of struggled to even remember her name. We haven't seen her in a very long time, but it is what it is. She's here. She says that she snuggled, or basically she used her damn devil fruit power to have somebody bring her here on the ship. It's like, okay, it makes sense. It's just, I'm gonna be real with you, I'm really kind of not the biggest fan of the Otama plotline at this point, more so just because Oda hasn't really invested as much time into it. Not to say she's a bad character. I think it's intriguing, the whole dynamic between her, Ace, and Luffy, and being a samurai, but it's just like he hasn't gave it too much time, except outside of, the first like 10 chapters of Wano. He does save them, they're getting away. Uchi and page 1 are obviously not taking this that seriously. They're goofing off, which is showing to be their character a little bit. Page 1 is letting that baboon, that samurai baboon we seen at the beginning of Wano, like they're clashing right now. Like they're obviously, it's comedic right now. They're, it makes sense. It's based on what we've seen of both of them, it makes sense that this is happening. They gotta get my man Usopp to a hospital because he's not looking well on that Komayunu. Is that how you say it? That little dog dragon? I mean dog. I said, yeah, dog thingy. Whatever. Just get this man some help. He needs it. Yeah. From there we transition back to Yamato, who's fighting Sasaki's group. His group is very interesting because they're like a firing squad, bomb squad type group. They have like shields and they shoot cannons. And Yamato is sitting there and taking all of them. Yamato is actually kind of taking a beating. I think it was 1 or 2 chapters ago. I think it was 2 chapters ago when we first seen Yamato take that hit. I kind of didn't understand what happened in that panel, but now that I see like, oh, they're like shooting like cannonballs and rockets at him, it's like, damn, they're sitting there taking it. This process, Yamato has actually been taking out a good amount of the little armor division, which prompts Sasaki to get into the fight. Oh wait, no, let me backtrack a little bit. Yamato has one of them more like Odin inspired moments in which she says Shinobu tells her to retreat or not to protect her and Momonosuke, and Yamato says that Odin would never do something like that, and there's a panel to both of their faces reacting to that because they're starting to understand Yamato a little bit more. It's becoming more and more obvious, even though they actually knew Odin and she didn't. He comments because Yamato's been taking out some of his squad members, and he pulls out his sword and it looks like he begins to transform to whatever zone form he has. I'm going to call that he's a Triceratops. I think that's the easy one, or he's something along that line, some type of one of them armor-plated tusk horn having dinosaurs. He's probably gonna be something like that. I don't want to say Triceratops because Oda hasn't necessarily been using the stereotypical dinosaurs. Like he hasn't used the T-Rex. Like we thought Jericho's a T-Rex. Jericho's not a T-Rex. He hasn't used a pterodactyl because King is like a pterodactyl type creature, but it's not actually a pterodactyl. The only thing that's been kind of like, okay, standard dinosaur was Queen, who's a Brachiosaurus, something like that. But yeah, this ain't Jurassic Park. Let's keep going. But backtracking, before Sasaki even has the chance to transform, Frankie crashes the party. Yep, Frankie comes in and he brings Hachan, which is the eighth, what do people call it again? They kind of glorified fodder. The 8th giant creature. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They've been kind of, but he comes in, crashes the party, stops whatever fight was going to happen between Yamato and Sasaki in that moment. And it's hilarious throughout in this that Yamato kind of has like a Bartolomeo fangirl moment in which when Frankie comes in, she's like, "Oh, it's Cyborg Frankie of the Straw Hats, who has a 94 million berry bounty." So that was a cool little moment. She seems to be somewhat of a fangirl of the Straw Hats, not to the level of Bartolomeo, obviously, but that was pretty cool to see. Hachan trying to hit at Frankie, caves the floor in, so everybody begins to fall through the floor, and Yamato uses this situation to try to get away and leave all of this on Frankie. And let me say this, we haven't seen a lot of Frankie really recently. I mean, we've seen him in spurts here in Wano, but let me say, I've really been enjoying the screen time that Frankie has had in Wano. Like, Frankie has been a G in Wano. It all started off at the beginning of the arc when he body slammed the dude off the building. Let's not forget that. I want to refresh our memory on that one. In the end, it was a few chapters. It's about 10 chapters ago now, when he said he did say he had a dope moment with the dang Giants where he said something about Luffy becoming the king of the pirates and we got to stand up for him. He had a whole moment and he aimed a radical beam at him, and then I think he's about to aim at that Big Mom as well. So he aimed at that Big Mom. That's what happened. Just Frankie, man, he's had a good showing. We just haven't seen enough of the guy. I want to see more of him. But basically, he gives Yamato, he tells Yamato basically, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I got you. I don't know who you are, but shoot, let's do it. And while everybody's falling down, Yamato's like, here, Frankie, let me help you out a little bit. And she does some type of mace wind force attack, and looks like she knocks out Hachan, which is cool, but at the same time, I don't think that was Frankie's biggest problem. Now Frankie's up there with Sasaki. So we'll see how that turns out. I would think that Sasaki's stronger than Frankie. And like I said, I think Triceratops style zone, we'll see. I think that might be coming within the next chapter or two. So let's do it, we'll see. Wait, Yamato has a very interesting line where she says that Momonosuke, it will be the person who guides the new dawn of the world, the dawn of the world. And we've heard dawn a handful of times in One Piece, but what makes this very interesting is Yamato, if Yamato knows this, does that mean Yamato knows the history and what the One Piece is? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know when Yamato first got introduced, that was a big talking conversation that Yamato, if she read Odin's log, if she read Odin's book, she should know all of that. But the thing is, people had a problem with Yamato joining the crew and knowing that. So a lot of people, I think there's a theory out there, if I'm not mistaken, that Yamato will actually die before Wano ends, so that she won't be able to tell the crew the information about the One Piece and Rap Tail. I don't necessarily subscribe to that theory. I would say, if anything, Oda's just gonna find a way for Yamato to keep it to herself, because Oda's not gonna have the One Piece and the history of the world revealed to Luffy before the end of the series. That was shown in the Sabaody arc, where Rayleigh didn't tell them anything. He specifically had Luffy not want them to know that, because Luffy understands that this is my own journey. I'm just out here doing it. Like he does. Like, we all know Luffy, and which is actually shown later in the chapter with the scene with Robin and Law. Luffy just is here for the adventure. He doesn't necessarily care for the history and the One Piece. Like, that's the cool stuff to him, but he really wants the adventure. He likes this freedom. That was interesting. Yamato might know the history of the world. She might know what the One Piece is. So we'll see how this all plays out. Alright, so from here we transition to the most interesting and compelling part of the chapter, in my opinion. We transition to Law, which is who we hadn't seen in a minute, and he's actually found a poneglyph. Now, in this, we get a little bit of Corazon flashback about the Willa D and things like that. Stuff we've already seen before, but we haven't really seen much of Law internalizing it, which is interesting. We go back to his conversation with Robin, which I don't remember if that was in the Dressrosa or in Zoe. I want to say it was in Zoe. It was about the Willa D and the questions that it has, and basically he comes to the conclusion that we've already known for about 200 chapters now, which the red poneglyphs will reveal all that information. So Law finds his stone, and he speaks to himself. He says, "Hey Corazon, I've made up in my mind that I want to know the meaning of my name, and on this check fate." Now, to me, I'm gonna be real with y'all. this is like death flag central right there. That just, if I don't want it to happen, but that just seemed like that's the law of death flags if you ask me. But yeah, I'm not. I like it. It's interesting. But if you really think about it, it didn't really necessarily progress the story per se. It just more so progressed Law's character a little bit to let us know into what he's thinking. But like I said, he's talking about his fate and the will of D. Law might die. I mean, I know that was a big theory, but it's really starting to hit me like, oh man, like this could really happen. Yeah, after this we have a little scene transition to Kid and Killer making their way up to the top to where Kaido is. Kid is actually amalgamating all the metal in the area so he can be prepared for when he gets up there with Kaido, which makes sense because there's going to be no metal up there. So Kid is going to have to bring it up there with him, which I actually like. That's his fighting style. That makes sense. I like that. I like that Oda does that. I don't think he's making one just big gigantic arm. At first I did think that, but no, he's actually he's collecting all the metal and stuff so that he can go to the top of the dome with it and have it accessible to him. The transition into that was that Killer says that we're fighting the world's strongest pirate here, and Kid acknowledges that, and then we transition to Kaido whooping the Scabbard's ass. Hit Kinemon like a damn baseball. We see Denjiro try to stab him. I think he kind of does hit him a little bit, but it doesn't do nothing. And we just see blood beating, and we see the Scabbards at his feet, which is anybody surprised about? I mean, you know what I'm saying? They put up a decent little fight. They for sure did. But once he got out of that dragon form, we knew what it was. We knew it was over. I mean, shoot, he took off, what's her name? Not Komurasaki's. I can't even think of her name now. It's funny, I get on these videos, I can't think of names. But you know who I'm talking about. Okiku. Yeah, he took off Okiku's arm while still in dragon form. So pretty much the moment he transitioned back to his human form, we knew what it was. We knew this was over. Seeing Big Mom, based on last chapter, still making her way up to the top. She's flying past everybody. Zoro, Killer, everybody, Apu, Queen, they all see that Big Mom's flying through. So they're like, oh, okay, they recognize the urgency of this situation because she's going to the top. Everybody trying to make their way to the top. It's a scramble to the top. Zoro has made it clear that he wants to go to the top. We'll see how that plays out. We from there transition into Luffy, Sanji, and Jinbei, who are still also making their way to the top. So, man, let me tell y'all, we're 4 chapters away from chapter 1000. Of course, I think most of us think that everybody's going to be at the top of chapter 1000. That's chapter 1000. But it's becoming real. It's getting go time. I feel like it would be nice to put like a little countdown clock on the side. 30 seconds till everybody reaches the top. Because you got to understand, all this stuff is probably going on really, really fast, even though in the chapters it may not seem like that. But, yeah. Now, the last panel is extremely interesting for me because Sanji appears to have a observation hockey moment, maybe I'm thinking, in which he's hearing a line of dialogue that goes exactly like this, and I'm reading it straight from here. Come, my dear, that's it. But my lord, you mustn't. It would be so naughty. That kind of confused me at first when I first read the chapter. Now that I'm reading a little bit, I'm thinking maybe, it might sound crazy, this may have something to do with Orochi. I'm either thinking Orochi has something to do with Orochi, Black Maria, or both. I just don't know who else could it be. If y'all have any ideas, let me know in the comment section. Let me know down below, because those are the only things I can think of based on this, because it says my lord, so it has to be Orochi and maybe Momonosuke. But we've seen what Momonosuke is doing, so it shouldn't be him. So yeah, y'all, that's chapter 996 review for y'all. Really enjoyed this chapter. I think this chapter progressed the story. The pacing was well. We've seen a little bit of everything. Yeah, we've seen pretty much all aspects for the most part. I can't think of what we didn't see. The only thing we didn't see is the plague bullet stuff. But I don't think people are tripping off missing that as much. So yeah, if I had to rate this chapter, I actually give it 7.5 out of 8. It was a pretty decent chapter. I mean, it didn't have no crazy hype moment. I mean, I like the moment where, Kaido was whooping everybody's ass, because I like Kaido. I like villains, and I like seeing stuff like this, especially because he was catching an L for a couple chapters. So it's just refreshing to see him put in work. But yeah, chapter 996, 7.5, 8. Let me know what y'all think down below. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy AJ, and I'm up out of here.